My name is Faith Ford. First and foremost, I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ because He helped me to soar above the deck of physical, mental, and sexual captivity. The odds seemed stacked against me, and I was left with a deep-rooted seed of bitterness. That is, until I finished writing my life story and began sharing my testimony of recovery. Point number 1. Life in Christ has helped me to soar above being born into a dysfunctional family. Before my mother and daddy ever gave me a thought, God chose them to be my parents. Well, what was He thinking? They already had a bunch of kids, and I was the 17th one. I would have chosen a Christian home, but I didn't have a choice in the matter. Did God have some kind of plan for me? In 1941, I was born on a big farm in Bowie, Texas. I grew up being known as one of the Ford bunch. I endured more than my share of being whipped and scolded. From an early age, I learned to be quiet and work. For the most part, I felt alone, timid, and unlovable. But by my senior year in high school, I excelled in obedience and submission. Point number 2. Life in Christ has helped me to soar above bad marital choices. At the age of 17, I moved to the big city of Wichita Falls, Texas. There, I found employment and enrolled in a business college. And then I met my first husband, who held me captive and later tried to kill me. The next 30 years of my life was filled with more mental torment of verbal and physical abuses. There was a marriage of 11 years that ended in a divorce. Early in that marriage, we adopted a baby boy. Following that divorce, there was an affair with a preacher politician who was married but had convinced me that he wasn't. That resulted in the birth of my baby girl being born out of wedlock. Next, there was a marriage and a divorce to help protect my baby girl from her biological father. Then there was a remarriage of 12 years to help me keep my daughter and young son. Again, that marriage ended in a divorce to protect me. I tried really hard to have good marriages, but my background was dysfunctional. I was a victim, therefore I attracted people with control issues. Point number 3. Life in Christ has helped me to soar above physical illness. 3 months after my previous divorce, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in the final stages. I suffered through 6 months of a trial chemotherapy drug, but I kept positive thoughts about being made whole. About a year and a half later, the cancer came back. That time, the oncologist sent me away with no hope of recovery. Later at home, I asked God, what am I doing wrong? Genesis 1:29 was only the beginning of my search to find out how I could live and not die. And it reads, "And God said, Look, I have given you every herb upon the face of all the earth, and every tree with the seed in its fruit. To you it shall be for food." I pondered, maybe I've been eating the wrong kind of food. I came to realize my body was simply out of balance, and all I needed was to bring it back into balance, and then my body would heal itself. I renewed my mind from the teachings of traditional and alternative medicine and followed after the philosophy of regeneration. After I applied my newfound knowledge to my life, I had a better understanding about being fearfully and wonderfully made by God. I've been off all legal drugs since 1995. Every physical, beginning in 1998, continually shows no sign of cancer. I feel great and I live a full life. In conclusion, 8 years after my previous divorce, I tried one final time to have a good marriage. That is when I was influenced to go to Celebrate Recovery meetings. I wanted to fix my husband's involvement with other women. There I found warm friendship and trusted support. But I had to focus on me. In the group guidelines, we had to make I and me statements. Who I wanted to talk about was my husband, not me. For about 6 weeks, I only listened. And then I started building my amazing future out of the ashes of my past. At Celebrate Recovery's Christ-centered 12-step study, I learned to be grateful to God for His selection of parents for me, and also rescuing me from my choices in life. Today, I'm flying high on Jesus. I'm soaring above the negatives. After I gave my testimony for the first time, God placed in my heart to write my life story. I described my struggles and what I did to experience victory over each one. It's been a 7-year journey of hard work, and at age 70, I've published my first book, Soaring Above the Odds. God did have a plan for me. It's to offer hope to others by sharing my testimony and having my books available to various groups of people. I challenge you to do 2 things. Dream big and follow God's plan for your life. Consequently, you will live beyond all your expectations. You too can soar above the odds.